So yeah, let's try to. I suppose I had a little kind of issue in the Novika repository where we needed to basically ignore parentheses. So in Novika we have forms. Forms can be grouped into blocks, and one of the ideas was that we may want to just wrap forms or groups of forms in these parentheses, so that they are kind of so that they are kind of ignored, like single characters that are ignored. So let's go into our new Novika repo. Like, as you doing it, let's just do my favorite way of dealing with keeping a repository up to date. Okay, let's now build our Novika. Well, almost. This is no longer needed. We can run the REPL, for example, and of course shards install without dependencies or without development, whatever. That would be quite weird if it was called without dependencies. So now let's try to build it. Of course I'm building the wrong file, therefore it doesn't work. So it's a bit larger in terms of these modules or whatever. Okay, now that we have our Novika, we can, try it out. And as you can see, these things currently are kind of not ignored at all. They are just used as is, as part of the word definition, supposedly. So we use this, for example, in this little word dollar opening bracket, which will define the corresponding variables, because otherwise you would have to do this in the weird order, in reverse order. Basically it would do the same thing, but it's not like human readable or something. Anyway, so let's open kind of the file that is responsible for this particular feature, the ignoring of the bracket, and it's called scissors or scissors. So it basically contains the code that deals with unclassified forms. Now I did not want to decrease it in size, but for some reason it decreases the window in size. No, it's not that small. Something like this, sure. So for some reason, yes, it just does this very weird thing. So yeah, let's now figure out where it all goes on. So here you can see we have some grapheme processing, but here you can see that we have block brackets, and we want to do stuff in a very similar manner to those block brackets. So basically these guys are going to be ignored. As you can see, they are special in that they don't require any separator before them or after them. Instead, they themselves are separators, in this sense much like quotes, but for a different reason. Well, yeah, whatever I meant to say here, I say it. So we need to yield the part before the thing. Then we need to yield. We need to introduce a cut. Then we go through. No, we don't want it to basically. So yeah, we basically introduce a cut. So imagine, we had code like this. What we do is we introduce a cut here, or like we have some code here. Then we introduce a cut here. Then we introduce a cut here. And then we kind of totally throw this away. Okay, and this is called ignoring, basically. Same thing here. We kind of give this away, then we introduce a cut, then we introduce a cut here, then we just simply throw this away. Not like this. So now let's try to run this thing and see if it actually works. I'm thinking what else can be needed here. I don't think anything should be needed here though. Let's try it out. The problem is, yes, that this word of course will break. So I need to find all the occurrences of this word and basically change it to it's not family, it's basically n of core. We have HL core, and this is where this word is defined. So let's use this guy. Now another kind of change that we would have to do is somewhere in here. I may have used it in some of the examples. I don't remember the exact syntax format. So yeah, I'm not like the best guy when it comes to man and Unix stuff. Depth files. I don't know what the fuck this is. So we have all the files in the env, and I need to somehow basically like, I don't understand this whole thing. Like, I need to find this sequence. Freak are you even talking about? Anyway, let's use Visual Studio Code. I'm a fucking new age person. I like Vim. By the way, Vim should have had the fuzzy search or something. Find word. Okay. And we have a crash. How do you like this? this thing fucking crashed all the way. No, this is no way going to work. Let's just use the usual. See, I see this. Use the dock view. I'm going to replace this guy with the newest version. And another place here as well. Then I have this in the math REPL example. Another one in the math REPL example. And we have the test for it here. Sure, so I have replaced everything. So right now supposedly the tests should run. Although I need to compile the tests, the FFI tests kind of thing. Fuck. And let's then just do a run of tests. This should not cause any problems, at least as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so you can see this worked fine. Now let's try to see what we can do about all of this in the particular examples now. So right now these things, these parentheses, should be simply thrown away, and that's what I want, to have about them. So they are simply like single character comments. So now we can say, for example, we have a basket and we have an apple, like something more like create apple, because we are all pretty dumb, but of course we can just say apple. I'm like not sure about this. And we can basically instantiate a new apple every time. Let's say that the apple has weight, and we'll say 100 apple will go into the basket. 200 apple will go into the basket, and a 300 apple will go into the basket. Then we'll just do a basket map, whatever weight, like so. What the fuck did I do here, man? The errors that scare me. And wait, I have not yet implemented the history, REPL history. This is also one of the to-dos. So as you can see, we have everything printed out correctly. I'm not doing simply basket because this looks scary as fuck. It's pretty informative, but it's scary as fuck. And I have not yet mastered the pre-printing or whatever for Novika. So yeah, I think this is it basically. Like, I don't want to do parentheses, like enforce that they are in like proper order, or so these are simply comments, nothing else. You can do whatever you want with them, but it is not necessary to close all of them or open all of them. It's just tiny little thing to help you kind of read Novika source code a bit better. Yes. So I don't know what else to show. Like, this was a pretty short, pretty small patch or update to the language. It doesn't break anything as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I think I'm gonna merge this or commit this. For these kinds of small changes, I don't generally merge, or I don't generally like branch the thing, but that's only me. Like, we have an LA. Everyone likes an LA. Yeah. Someday we will have something better. So let's try to maybe run some examples here. On debug version, this is going to be painstakingly slow. Novika in general is very slow, but on the debug version it's going to be painstakingly slow. Yeah. As you can see, at least I have cared enough to add a progress bar so that it doesn't, look like we are looking at a boring empty screen or something. And then, of course, we get an error that we don't have console turned on. It's also to have more words turned on. Console, F5, and there's also disk, which is disabled. Now you can see we have 460 words to see through. Okay. As I have said, this thing is going to be painstakingly slow. No one said it's going to be fast, but it works. Yeah, if you want something faster, you need to compile it in release mode. Then it's going to be pretty much, it's going to be very fast. I don't have it in path here, unfortunately, so yeah. So let's see. So what can I do now? I think I should commit it. I do have lazy git. Here you can see we have this change here. This change. Yeah, let's also look at Mother Apple, because it did use the old stuff. Mother Apple is also going to be pretty slow, so beware. So yeah, it's like a little Mother Apple where you can like navigate stuff. Yeah. And where any error kind of doesn't crash it, but instead like does stuff. That is actually nice. Yeah, but you can see it has quite a bit of weird behavior. There's also some scrolling. Yeah, and you can kind of delete from this end as well. We have power, proper precedence, hopefully. So yeah. And there's also like one of these ways to crash the interpreter is actually to use this power series. This way you can actually crash the decimal library. It's going to greatly slow down and then it's going to crash because it has an underlying buffer which holds all of these numbers, and it can get, it can overflow. Let me just check the memory usage. just interested in how much memory is actually used right now. It's 2 gigs basically. I'm waiting for this thing to crash though. So you can see that because it recomputes on every key press, it basically, you know, hangs. But I believe it is possible to crash it this way. I did crash it some sort of way. You know, I don't remember how exactly, but yeah, and you can see that it seems to recompute every expression every time, which is like very nice and optimized and stuff, as you probably guess. Let's just quit out of this crap. Yep, quitting. 3 gigs boost. Yeah. Quitting. Kind of paving our way to a quit. As I have said, if I did not compute these expressions on every key press for like every expression, this would have been a lot better, but unfortunately not for today. Certainly not for today. Just waiting till that Control-C interrupt arrives. Yeah, here it is. This is actually because of a syntax error. When there is a syntax error, it like detects it earlier, then it can compute the actual like expression. So yeah, I have this permissions file. Like all of this permission system is fucked up. I just kind of fast coded it, and it just disembowels itself like a few minutes after you start using it, mainly in that it actually disregards, as far as I believe, it disregards first of all, it can repeatedly execute stuff. So for example, like if I have some sort of directory, for this I will need to build the language, unfortunately, so let's just build it. Let's not stress my computer, let's just do something like this, which is going to be a bit faster, but you know, a bit slower for us. So what you can do is you can basically use the Novika. Again, I don't have it in paths, so I can't really do anything. Now I believe I do have this, but no, I do not. Alright. Fine. So we can do is we can create a test, a foo for example, and here we can run, if we can of course, be Novika new. So you can see it doesn't resolve it because it doesn't exist. So let's just do this here. Permit new to use disk. Sure. And this thing now fucks up because there is no core. So I basically need to figure out. So now you can see it has created the app, which we can now run, but we can't. Because for some reason it like thought it was not an app, even though it is an app, because there is this magical file here which which kind of makes it automatically assume that this is an app, but it like just doesn't give a fuck. Continues onwards, as they say. So yeah, there is a lot to work on with Novika resolver, which is like a big piece of code, a big piece of crap, really, that actually doesn't work properly. Now I'm interested in which version I have here. Okay, 1.5.0. So like right now it's 1.7.0 actually. But anyway, so this is kind of it. I don't have much else to do. I'll just commit the thing, and that's gonna be it, I believe. Like, it doesn't seem to break. I mean, we can write the comment, of course. It's good to comment your code. Are like single character comments of themselves. They are completely ignored. It is unchecked even whether one friend has matching. It is left unchecked. I hate this feature of this like lunar whim, or what is it? When it automatically accepts its dumb hints at the end of the line. So yeah, this is it, I believe. Easy. So now we can actually... Fuck, there is this one thing that doesn't make me happy. Where is it? There was this thing that, yeah, here it is left unchecked. I believe this is due to the fact that this thing is, this is a trailing white space. I'm used to them being removed automatically, but here in the Vim it's, at least on this Vim it's not configured, so we don't have this kind of... Actually, we can make this line a little longer. I see that. And this is because of this like hint issue. If not for this hint issue, I would not have put it there at all. So yeah, you can see that we have this. Let's commit. Actually, let's do this, and I'm going to By the way, I can just like add them to white space, can't I? Where is the fucking scissors? Can I add them to white space? No, I can't really add them to white space. It's a bit different. And it also closes an issue, but I don't remember its number, so I'm gonna have to look it up. By the way, the last thing actually failed. The CI, which is quite funny. So something has gone wrong during this build. And it doesn't... Ooh, that's because I'm signed out. Anyway. So it doesn't like something, basically. And it's something that has to do with last stuff. Anyway, let's just forget about this for a minute. And somewhere here I had, yeah, here ignore to aid readability, and we'll have, this is number 70 actually. So yeah, here I show the example of basically, so yeah, let's commit this right out. No. Quit. Hopefully it didn't, yeah it didn't. Nice. So let's get, I don't remember how to do this with this thing. How was it? Capital P or something? Push. Yeah, it's capital P. Ooh, no. This won't work. Let's not do this. I have SSH add. And now I think this should work. Git push. It won't. Let's do this via Visual Studio Code because that's the only thing that works in this case. Yes. That's like what's interesting. Like Git doesn't work, but Visual Studio Code does. And that's very funny. Let's put it this way. So now let's look at the CI. I don't think that it will run because like it didn't run previously. So yeah, but we have implemented this thing, so yeah, I'm fine with that at least. Okay.